Hi there. Do you have a moral compass? Oh boy, I hope you do, because today we're going to be putting it to the test. What we're going to be doing today is the single least ethical thing possible in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Floodgates and hand ripping. Yeah, as it turns out, when KONAMI released this deck, they most definitely forgot about one particular card in the game that most definitely should have been either banned or somehow limited away from the archetype, because this is not okay under any circumstance. Essentially, we're going to be taking your opponent's hand and sending it to the Shadow Realm, then summoning a monster to the field that just prevents your opponent activating pretty much any attack position effect whatsoever. It is disgusting. Regardless of if this archetype turns out to be a top tier archetype or just bottom of the barrel trash, this type of gameplay really shouldn't be in the game, and hopefully KONAMI sees this and they do something about it fairly soon, at least on the next ban list, because yeah, this is most definitely not okay whatsoever. The Floodgate, we can deal with that. The hand ripping, that is not okay, so hopefully it goes away on the next ban list, but until then, let me show you how to cyberbully your opponents. So here's today's deck list. But just a reminder before I get to the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see some more content just like this in the future, or more deck lists from me in the future, please don't leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into the deck list. So this deck list is built pretty simplistically. We're basically just playing 3 O's of all the searches, and then 1 O's of all the engine pieces, and 2 copies of your big boss monster, your M-Pen. It's a very simple deck list. Basically, you got your Robin, this thing searches your deck for the small guys. Your Eglin searches your deck for the big guys. Then we have your Stree, this card banishes things from grave. Then we have your Toucan, this thing retrieves things from the graveyard. Very important combo for your grind game. You'll be doing this a lot, where you just banish cards from your own graveyard in order to retrieve them later on. It's very common, as well as obviously banishing things from your opponent's graveyard that might be annoying, like Blue Eyes trap cards or something. Then we have the boss monsters. We've got your disgusting Floodgate, your M-Pen, which just stops your opponent's special summoned attack position monsters from using their effects. Very annoying against decks that have to flip things face up with like skills and whatnot. Then of course, this thing also searches your deck for your spell cards, and if your opponent tries to swing into it, they're going to have a very bad time. Then we have your Monarch. This thing just shuffles cards, you can read it yourself, it just removes things from the field. Then we have your big guy. This thing hand rips for 1 billion based on the amount of things you remove from the field. Couple things to note with this card: you have to have a field spell on field in order to use it, so remember, if you want to hand rip your opponent, you have to have the field spell on field, and once the field spell is gone, this thing blows itself up. So typically that's actually a good thing, because it means your opponent can't use skills if you nuke your own field. So you hand rip your opponent, nuke your own field, and they can't really do anything, so they've got no cards in hand, can't activate skills, and they're completely cooked. And that's basically it. Then we've got the searches, we've got your adventure. This thing can just target your things, banish them, and in order to search for other things from your deck list. We've got your field spell, searches for things from your deck list by banishing them and then giving you a normal summon. These cards, when they're banished, they can be add back to hand whenever you put a wind monster on the field, or a winged beast monster on the field. Then we've got your unexplored winds. This lets you tribute your opponent's cards, not just their monsters. When you do a tribute summon, you can just target their back row and tribute summon using it. Pretty cool. Icarus attack is for the skill, which we'll talk about in a second. And we've got your Floowandereeze and the Dreaming Town, which lets you do all your comboing during your opponent's turn. As a nice bonus effect, when you do a tribute summon, you can banish it, flip your opponent's entire field face down. Very disgusting. I will also have this spell card. This is very similar to this card in that you just use it to search things by tributing things, but it only searches for the monsters basically, the small monsters, not the big one. The other things I'm playing is I'm choosing to play tech cards like Book of Moon and Eclipse. These are very good against things like our hand traps, like Effect Veiler and your impermanences, all that kind of stuff, because you just target your own monster, flip face down, they can't really do anything about it, and you don't care about it because you're tribute summoning over your monsters anyway. So very good tech cards for this particular deck. Things like Droplet don't work super well, because you can't discard this thing from the field or your monsters from the field because they all banish themselves, so it doesn't let you use Droplet using them. So if you normal summon them, then try and chain Droplet to dodge an effect. That doesn't work, so it's synergized super well. I'm probably being a bit overkill with the anti-hand trap thing here, or anti-target effect thing here, considering this card's used for dodging, this card's used for dodging, this can be used for dodging, and this can be used for dodging, which is probably a little overkill, but I know, it's a thing that happens in the TCG very often when people play Book of Moon in this deck, so I thought I'd try it out here and see how it goes. Playing the Duality because obviously this deck is only normal summon, no special summons, which is why the extra deck does not matter whatsoever. You can make this extra deck whatever you want. You can fill it up with just fusion monsters if you want to, just for the lols. Doesn't matter whatsoever. And yeah, that's basically it for the main deck. Then we have the skill. Now, the skill for this deck, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little on the weak side, which is probably a good thing. The skill, basically, it's fairly similar to the Dark Magician and the Blue Eye skills we sort of got recently. You can just draw 2 cards from your deck by discarding a Winged Beast from your hand, or a trap card, which is why some people play Impermanence, because you discard Imperm for the draw. And the other effect allows you to reveal a Winged Beast or trap in your hand. Oh, sorry, never mind. This turn, one of the cards from your normal draw will be an Icarus attack, or a random Winged Beast monster from your deck. So, it has 2 effects, and you can only use one of them per turn. So you either put Icarus attack on top of the deck for your normal draw, or you reveal a Winged Beast or a trap card and draw 2. You can't do both. It feels kind of bad because you can't search for the trap card going first, which doesn't matter when you're hand ripping, but it's feels kind of bad. And going second, you can't search for the Icarus attack and do the drawing. And considering this deck bricks a bit, it feels kind of rough. Thankfully, the skill does have a nice little bonus thing where you can use the trap card going second. So if you put the trap card on top, draw it, you can use it instantly to pop your opponent's field, which would be good for dealing with back row and front row and all that kind of stuff. But typically, it's not as strong as other skills, that's all I'm going to say. The rest of it is just sort of fine. Considering the strength of the deck, it's probably okay to have a skill that just isn't that OP. And yeah, that's basically it for the deck list, so let's jump into some gameplay. Alright, so today I've got 6 replays to share with you guys, and the funny thing about these replays is, you'll probably notice as they go along, I start getting better and better and better at the deck list. This deck takes a lot of thinking because there is a billion different effects going on at once. You do one normal summon, your entire banish pile all of a sudden ends up in your hand. There is so many effects going on at once that you really have to think quick, otherwise you're just going to time out. It is going to happen. So if you struggle with this deck sort of early on, don't worry, it gets a little bit better. It might be a little bit ragey early on as you time out a lot, but as it goes on, you will get better and you'll get some really funny results because there are some... Yeah, these replays are absolutely disgusting. Some of them, well, you'll see them. Let's just show you. This deck is floodgating, and it is taking my opponent's hand and sending it to the Shadow Realm. I don't think, honestly, I don't mind. Okay, I shouldn't say I don't mind the floodgate because it's kind of cringe, but it's a little bit less cringe. It's a lot less cringe than Winder, I would say. But the hand rip, that probably needs to go. I think if KONAMI does a ban list after the next KC Cup, even regardless of if it turns out this deck is complete dog shit or not, we shouldn't be hand ripping in Duel Links, it's cringe. Alright, so going first, we activate our card. Our hand was a bit of a brick here, so we're going to use this to shuffle a card in order to hopefully hit something. Do a draw 2 with the skill. Robin going to be searching for the Eglen. Eglen searching for the Raska. Summoning M-Pen. M-Pen's going to be searching for a spell. These cards are just going to add themselves back from the banish pile. I decided not to add this one back because I like to have a card banished in case I need one for this. Also, having one banished means you have more chain blocks. Doesn't really matter against this deck, but yeah. Sometimes it's nice to keep at least one banished, especially if you know you're doing more normal summons anyway. Alright, so adding this card back to hand, adding another one to hand, normal summoning. This card gets to banish a card from my opponent's graveyard. Fantastic against Shadow, because of course, yeah. Alright, tribute summoning out the Raska, and I'm going to hand rip on the first turn. Normally you're hand ripping on the opponent's turn, but this time around I decided I've got a lot of cards I could just send away. So you can only send 3, because this card locks you to 3, but first turn, hand ripped already. And the cool thing about doing it on the first turn is also, you'll notice, because of the field spell disappears. 1, 2, 3. The field spell disappears, pops my monster, and now my field is empty, which means the Shadow player can't use his skill. Now, unfortunately, I kind of forgot that Shadow cards, when they get sent to the graveyard, obviously do things, so could be a bit risky, but yeah. And this one trap card is all you need. Literally, your field empty with just this trap is all you need. You play on the opponent's turn. For those who haven't seen Flu before, I don't know if I do it in the, I do it in this replay, but you just play during their turn. This trap card normal summons, grabs a dude, and do the exact same thing all over again. This time I'm going for the big Monarch. The Monarch's just going to shuffle some cards, and he is donezo. So yeah, deleted my man's hand and then just played during his turn. It is the most toxic thing you could possibly do. It is, honestly, hand ripping, in my opinion, is way more cringe than floodgating. It is infinitely more cringe. Because normally floodgates, aside from the things like Droll or Maxi or something, aside from the lingering ones, typically floodgates, you know, you have this outs to them. It's cosmic, stuff like that. But if you get hand ripped on the first turn, yeah. There's no out to that. There's hand traps, but this deck dodges hand traps like nothing else, especially when you're playing 3 books, 3 Eclipse, and 3 of the spell card. Alright. So banishing this with the thing, that makes my normal summon this, I can add this back to hand. Yeah, hand traps are completely dead versus this deck when I'm playing Triple Book and Triple the spell card that banish from field. And the other quick play spell that banishes from field. Alright, M-Pen gonna be adding back the boys. Once again, only adding 1, because then I'm gonna do another normal summon. Which I might have already used his effect, I can't remember. Oh yeah, I might have already used his effect. Doesn't matter, you get him back on the next turn anyway. M-Pen. Cosmic Cyclone. I'm gonna trigger my Dreaming Town. So I've now noticed he's only got 3 cards left in hand. I wonder what I could do when someone's got 3 cards left in hand. Hey Glenn, gonna be adding the Rabina. Oh, so he's gonna add the card to the deck. Rabina just adds from Banish. Oh no, I've got 3 face-ups. And don't worry, I've also got a Book of Moon as well, so... Even if somehow he was able to keep playing, yeah, he'd get Book of Moon. And once again, my field is empty, so if he has a skill, which is he's playing Valence, so he does have a skill, where your opponent controls a monster, you summon Slank to the field, doesn't matter. My field's empty, he can't use the skill. So his hand's gone, he can't use the skill, and my entire hand's full again, because they just come back from the banish pile. This deck does not run out of resources very easily. Especially considering, I think you've seen some of these other replays, I hope. Very often, you just recycle stuff from your graveyard. You play the guy that banishes a card from grave, then you play the guy that grabs back the card from the banish pile, and you just do that on repeat. So you get into a grind game, you're going to be looping that 2-card combo very, very often. Alright, up against Mr. Kaiser here, a hero player. You'll notice most of these replays are going first. This deck is way better going first than second. It can play going second, but you definitely want to go first. You'll see at least one going second replay. I think the last replay in this is going second, but I mostly want to show off the hand rip, because that's sort of what the video title is going to be, and the big, Konami, no, why have you done this? Alright, this card, by the way, is from the card trade, if you don't know where this is from. This thing tributes a Wing Beast, because they just get banished anyway, because that's what their effect is. Gets banished, and I search a card from deck. It's pretty much the same as this spell card, only it doesn't search for the field spell as well. Or search for, the big Flundereeze. But it's a nice way to add a bit of consistency. It's a hard once per turn, though, so you probably don't want to play too many of it. This deck does have some consistency issues, because obviously he's drawing with the skill all the time. Alright, and I just think this was an ethical game. I don't think I hand ripped this guy. So like this one or the next guy I didn't bother hand ripping. Well, I didn't bother, but yeah. Alright. Drawing some more cards. Hate Spain the winds. Got the field spell as well, and we're good to go. Alright, so he's placing a very interesting looking Neos. Silver border looks disgusting on normal monsters. Polymerization. Out comes another disgusting hero. Gonna be drawing some cards. Tries to end the main phase, so I guess he just didn't draw into... He just got a bunch of back row or something. Either way, Rabina. Summoning out. Can summon this for a hand rip if I want to, but I'm pretty sure I just go for the back row here. Oh yeah, this card, by the way, lets you tribute your opponent's stuff, including spell and trap cards, so just deleted his Super Poly. Monarch deleting 1, I'd be able to delete a second one, and get a card out of his graveyard as well. Alright, so that was sort of more ethical gameplay. We didn't actually hand rip that time, so a bit more ethical. Next two are against Blue Eyes, and I think both of these are... Actually, one of them wasn't a hand rip, I think. Yeah, I think you get to see some cool stuff against Blue Eyes too, because there is other ways to not have a card on your end field outside of just using the big Earthbound Immortal. The quick play spell card also removes cards from your field. So very often, if you just have the quick play spell in hand, you'll want to save it and use it during the either during the opponent's turn at the start of it, or just at the end of your turn to clear your field, so they can't use their skills. So you don't want your Blue Eyes player putting the trap card on field. That is very nasty. So Eggland, grabbing this guy. Grabbing the Unexplored Winds. Did I set the Unexplored Winds? I did. Okay, anyway. Actually, this does look like a hand rip. Oh yeah, never mind, this is a hand rip game. Never mind, back to being unethical. And 3 cards gone. Turns out though, his hand was like... He had this, which would have been a good skill starter, but the other 2 were just tech cards. And setting a card. He just has nothing, he can't even play, can't use his skill, has no starter in hand. And even if he did, we actually had a full combo with just using this thing into just whatever thing we want to summon on our opponent's turn. Because he just ended his turn, I'm just gonna let it go through, sure. Yeah, and I think he just doesn't really do much here, I think I just summon shit. Alright, Robina. Adding. Double summoning. Gonna be banishing my M-Pen. This is what I was talking about earlier with the recycling. So by banishing the M-Pen, then I can use the Toucan to add back the M-Pen. And when I normal summon it, those 2 cards come back to hand again. So if my field gets removed, I can just do that again and keep recycling. Giga value. Had some people in Discord telling me this deck wasn't hard, and I think they're capping. There is a lot of intricate things to do with this deck, and there's not a whole lot of time to do them in. I think maybe once you've played it a lot, it'll be a lot easier, but it's certainly not playing Hero or something where your brain can be turned off. Alright, this one must be the quick play spell where I remove it from the end of my turn. It looks really weird because I'm literally using a quick play spell to remove my boss monster from the field, but it's just like it's literally a Duel Links thing where you're like, hey, you don't want your opponent using their skill. It's not fun. He's the last going first replay, the final one's going second. Alright, pretty gross looking hand, but we can fix that. There we go, nice little draws. Tries to imperm me, I'm just going to eclipse that. So you'll notice, I didn't use the quick play spell, because I want to save that as a field clearer. Because you could also use this to dodge imperms if you want to. Yeah, Book of Moon and Eclipse have a lot of synergy with this deck just because you can dodge everything with them because your monsters don't care about being flipped face down, obviously, because you're tribute summoning them. Not sure if it's particularly worth when you already have like 3 spell cards and the Eclipse to do it, to have the Book of Moon, but... Alright, so you notice, like I said, using this on my M-Pen to get it off the field, searching for some stuff, which I think I searched for the field spell, the trap. Yeah, field spell and the trap. I want to have the field spell on field, so if I want to do the rip, because this card does need a field spell on field in order to be on the field and do its ripping sort of stuff before it goes boom. So, just set up if I want to hand rip, and yeah, we're good. Not sure if I hand ripped in this replay though. I'm pretty sure I did, but we'll see. I know I did a lot of stuff in this replay. This is actually a really banger one. So he summons a Kaiman. Kaiman gonna be summoning. I'm gonna use my, because he did normal summon, I can now trigger my map. Oh yeah, this is actually a banger replay. There's some sick plays going on here. My hand is set up absolutely perfectly for what I want to do. Yeah, so normal summon this card, gonna be banishing a card from the graveyard. Normal summoning this card, gonna be searching my deck, Rabina adding back to hand. Grabbing the Mega. Mega can now remove this. We don't want him to have a Blue Eyes on field because then he can trigger his skill. So we just, every time a Blue Eyes hits the field, we get rid of it. No Blue Eyes for you. I'm going to leave 1 monster on field though. I had the option here to return this to hand. I obviously don't want him using his skill, so... Also, we got this, this card as well, which is nice. Alright, so special summon your turnip. Again, that card is now treated as Blue Eyes. Don't want him using his skill, so we're going to use this. Dreaming, going to be summoning Rabina, grabbing this. This card goes to my M-Pen. And then because we conduct a tribute summon, the trap card triggers, and we can flip his field face down. So bye-bye, Blue Eyes. I believe, yeah, just go back to me then. Icarus attack, searching for putting this card on the top of the deck, and then adding it to hand with my normal draw for the turn. Popping 2. And yeah, it's very much over. I can even hand rip his final 2 cards here, just to make sure he's got no Gyroids. I can remove 2 of his cards from hand, and I can use his monster as tribute fodder. Alright. Finally, I go on second replay. So like I said, the reason I showed a bunch of going first replays today is because the title of the video, and because going second just isn't as good as going first at all. You can go second, but a lot of the time it's kind of difficult. It's mostly difficult because, like, most skills these days add cards to hand, whereas this one just sort of, if you want your board breaker Icarus attack, it puts it on top and you have to draw it, which does not feel particularly great. Because it means also the skill can only be used 1 effect per turn, which is, yeah, you can't use the draw effect and the Icarus effect, so you get very bricky sometimes going second. Does not feel very good. It's not unplayable, as you'll see from this one, especially when you're playing, you know, tech cards like Eclipse and Book of Moon and whatever else, but yeah. Polymerization, going to be fusing out Infernal Rage. Liquid Soldier, going to be drawing some cards. We'll fast forward his turn, we don't care. We don't care. Oh, you're about to see some funny stuff with this card though. You're about to see what pure chain blocking looks like. It is the amount of chain blocking in this deck is disgusting. This card, he does never get to use it. He does not get the opportunity. Well, he could have used it on the first monster I normal summon, but he chose not to. Maybe he should have. Alright, so the Icarus attack on the top, obviously, because I want to get rid of the back row. He uses the Hallowed Life Barrier. I don't think I could even possibly kill him anyway, just because of how this deck works. It's really hard to kill through a big field. It just is, so I wasn't really going to kill him anyway, but sure. On Duality, gonna have a look at the top, grabbing a dude. Hit the downside of running multiple Pot of Duality, the hard ones per turn, when you see another one in your top 3. Icarus attack, me popping some cards, tributing my monster. He didn't use the effect of this to pop my card, and that's the last time he gets the opportunity to. Because now, as soon as you have one of your Floos banished, you're going to chain block for the rest of the game. So Eggland, going to be chain blocked. Searching for my end pen, normal summon. Going to be banishing one of his dudes from graveyard, so I'm doing any draws. Tribute summoning, once again, chain blocked, can't use his dude. There is me trap, setting and passing. Obviously use the trap card so we can't do any damage this turn. Alright, so you can't use the skill to put the big guy on the field, because this card would say no, because he has to flip face up, he's in attack position. There's not really much hero can actually do to out an M-Pen easily. And once he starts to, as you'll see, we have the trap card for follow-up. Or the Eclipse, but I think I use the trap card. So I don't want my M-Pen face down right now. Actually crazy this guy had another Neos. He literally used 2 already. I guess he had Neos Fusion. So all 3 Neoses in graveyard. Alright, Dreaming Town. He actually had an opportunity again to use this to pop this card if he wanted to. It wouldn't have mattered, he could have. Monarch, gonna be getting rid of his card. Also, I decided to put Neos Fusion on top to make sure he has a Bricken deck, because all 3 Neoses are in graveyard. Alright, then I use the trap card to do stuff face down. I probably shouldn't have done that, didn't really do anything. It was nice, I guess, for this card, because it forced him to flip face up, which means it's now negated by the M-Pen, I guess. Who search for Neos Fusion at the end for some reason? Maybe I shouldn't give him the Neos Fusion back. I was trying to put a brick on top of his deck, which is a cool thing you can do. Alright, second M-Pen. M-Pen gonna be searching. Yeah, this is lethal on field. I think I had very little seconds on my timer at this point, so I think I just set some cards and just like went in, I think. Yeah, I think I just sort of attacked. I did oh no, I did a bunch of draws first, actually. To see if I could hit the guy that shuffles from the hand ripper. Yeah, he's just dead on field. Alright, so that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Probably one of the least ethical decks KONAMI has ever released. I think, honestly, like I said, even if this deck turns out to be complete and utter just poop and dog shit, It doesn't matter. The hand rip shouldn't be in the game. You should not be hand ripping your opponent for 3 under any circumstances. That is the literal least fun thing in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Besides maybe Max C that we don't have in the game. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.